Yo,
Yo, my man, how are you?
what's good?
Here, let me get this set up here. Get you in my headphones. Check, check. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. I
How do
absolutely can.
you through all right? I just put this. I realized my last two podcasts I did, I sounded like absolute garbage. And so I put this microphone up. Hopefully that's going to help a little bit. Okay.
It looks fancy. Looks good. You got the Fidenza in the background.
Yeah, dude. We had a call with curated at XYZ, incredible collection. I had a call with Andrew Zhang the other day, and he's like, dude, just any of our assets, if you want to use them for any reason, go ahead and use them. I'm like, yeah, dude. So I loaded them into all of our White Walls accounts for the team. We put like all three of their vaults in there. And so now we just, got the Meridians, which look unreal on the vertical TVs. Got the ringers.
That's a Fidenza back there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's a fucking Fidenza, dude. That's a crazy
That's
one.
like one of those special Fidenzas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Fire.
that one's
You got the ringers.
absolutely wild. Yeah, I wish I owned this shit. Again, just to clarify, do not own this. Hopefully someday, but yeah, it's been dope. So we kind of go between like our art and then like just like the content we're creating with art, and then in the interim we like to put up the expensive stuff so we feel fancy.
Bro, it looks amazing. Like, I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Yes.
So we can just dive right in if you're cool with it. We are recording right now. So
cool, man. Yeah, I mean, however you wanna do it. If you want to intro, I know you're getting the ball rolling on all this stuff. So however you want to do it, I am here to be molded and
cool.
Do whatever you need me to do, my man.
All right, cool, man. Well, I mean, honestly, we'll do a small intro. I might just say fucking include all this anyway, just to keep it raw and flowing.
I love it. I'm cool with that.
But yeah, we can do a little intro. So what's good? Satoshi's mom here. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, somebody who is being talked about all over the space, DevonFigures, the founder of White Walls, and co-founder or founder?
Co-founder. We've got a nice little group of folks working on the mission.
Hell yeah. Dude, I'm so stoked to dive in with you today because I think the space is so much in dire need of a proper display mechanism. And the way that you guys are tackling this, and I'll let you obviously talk more on it, but you are creating a way for people to display the art that they own through TVs that they already own. So they're not needing to go out and get a special monitor that's complicated to set up, that is kind of like a third-party thing that can kind of go down at any time. And like I have a token frame right now. So I don't have a White Wall set up just yet. Still got to go get my Apple TV, but I've got the White Walls NFT. So I'm like good to go. But my token frame, I do love it. And, you know, I'm probably a great person to talk to as far as like market research. I do love it, but the cons of it are that if like one of the NFTs doesn't display like appropriately, because I own a lot of glitch art, I need to go into the support, hit them up, be like, yo, can you refresh this on your end? It takes like a day. So like if I'm wanting to put up a piece of art for like a party or something I'm throwing at my house or whatever, just to get together, and it's not displaying correctly, like if it's the weekend, I might not even get that response till Monday. Like, so, you know, that sucks. And like they went down recently too. So my token frame wasn't displaying anything for like a week. You know, shit like that, that's tough. I mean, but I do like the token frame for what it can do. It can display the art. It shows the provenance. But what you guys are doing, I'm curious to hear, like, what is your take on where the space is at right now, the mission you're on and how you're tackling this, and like, what is the next steps for White Walls? Because the potential is limitless, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. And it's interesting to hear your take on that. We've heard, I mean, so many takes from folks who have bought into many of them are incredible. Token Frame and others have made wonderful displays. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, let's just think about the logistics behind being a hardware manufacturer in like today's economy. It is, you're up against Goliath, right? I mean, when it comes to, you know, the other manufacturers that are rapidly deploying and building new tech, it's I mean, again, we haven't looked into it. We are hopefully never going to offer a hardware solution just because we have heard the problems from all the different companies similar to yours. And we've heard the positive things as well, because, you know, the cool part about a token frame, we'll just use that as an example since you brought it up, is that it was one of the first solutions to this problem. And the problem being, and something that we're just really passionate about, is this idea that digital art is just trapped right now. It's stuck in the tiny screens of our phones and our personal devices. And we've all just sort of been okay with that for the most part, which is crazy to me. Like, we've been here for years collecting art. And at the end of the day, then that art just collects dust in our wallets. And sometimes we share it as a GM on Twitter, X, whatever. And that's the extent of our like coexisting with it, or our ability to allow it to enrich and truly affect our lives, which art should be able to do. And so, I mean, I love the folks who have come in and built these hardware displays. The specs are awesome. I mean, it's a novel mission, and it's the same mission that we're on. But to pivot into what White Walls is doing, it's just a different approach. I think it's a democratized approach, really, at the end of the day. And that's sort of what we say, among other kind of quippy things that I think we've written over the last few months, is, democratizing digital art appreciation. Because at the end of the day, the goal between us and a hardware company is the same. How do we get digital art into physical spaces, right? I mean, we're all going for that same goal. But one of them, I think, is a scalable approach. And the other one is one that's going to come with a ton of red tape in manufacturing and shipping and installation and support and all of these things. A hardware first approach is tough. And I am willing and ready to see someone do that very well. But we want to take a software approach as a software company that is going to build the best possible software to allow you to seamlessly bring digital art into physical spaces. And ideally, it would be using the displays that you already own, your TVs. I know right now you mentioned we've, of course, got that little limitation on who can access the app because we need an Apple TV. I like to always just kind of clarify up top that the decision to work with Apple TVs, even though it's kind of the most expensive like external hardware box that you can get, it's at $130. Again, it's a nominal investment, I think, but at the same time, not everyone needs or wants an Apple TV box. Is that similar to how it works on iOS? Apple TV, or just Apple in general, offers Test Flight, which is an iterative testing and development environment that allows us to curate a group of test users, push builds to different groups within that. So our team has gone through 53 different builds of the TV app that you see behind you. Our alpha testers, I think, have seen 7 or 8 of those builds that we've pushed out to them, unlocking new features every time. But we're testing things, breaking things, retesting things. And the only way for us to do that was to do it within the Test Flight environment, which is why we natively built for Apple TV first. We are rapidly working to build out native apps for your Samsung TVs, your LG TVs, your Roku TVs, any TVs running Android platform, Fire Sticks, Chromecasts. I mean, we're going to run the gamut. We're going to be available with whatever tech you've already got. And of course, that's the mission.
God damn, that is beautiful, man. I love it. And I love your energy too, dude. Like, amazing. Absolutely, like, love everything you guys are doing. Like, so let me say that. And, so is this like a SaaS model as far as like making money with this, or how are you guys tackling that?
So it's funny. I mean, we've gone through many iterations of like revenue models. I mean, we're in the process right now of finalizing a deck. We're probably about a week out from starting conversations regarding a seed raise, which is exciting for us. I mean, we're thrilled. We've got some great interest, which is awesome. And that is, as a founder, is always amazing. But that brings a lot of questions, right? You need to go into those conversations knowing, where the money is coming from. And originally we were working as a freemium SaaS model where, let's just say, for example, you have one display, which a majority of people have maybe one display in, let's say, their living room that they want to activate. A lot of people also have a TV in their rooms now, which is my primary place that I display art, is in my room at home. And then you have TVs in your offices and things. So the freemium model was sort of arranged around the idea of like multiple displays, access to a couple premium features, things like that. What we've realized recently, and again, none of this is set in stone, but I've been pretty transparent about it, because if you've listened to me talk any other times, in my space I did with Schiller the other day, for example, I mean, you're going to learn really quickly that me specifically, but like also our team and our culture and what we're doing, we're going to build completely transparently and with this same level of energy every step of the way. We're building a product that I think has the potential to answer some really big questions about this space and what viewership of art means. And what, the provenance looks like when it's brought into physical spaces and all of those fun things. And they're questions that are frankly too big for me to answer and for our team to answer. And so we're looking to the community to do that. And we're going to build very, very transparently. So in that vein, going back to the monetization stuff, I think it would be really easy to run this as a freemium model where you would pay, let's just say $10 a la Netflix subscription, right? To have up to 4 displays and then pay for more. And that's a model we really looked into. Is it scalable? Probably. But is it exciting? Is it accessible? Is our big thing. And when we look at that idea of democratizing digital art appreciation, $10 a new subscription isn't much to ask of somebody, but is it the right path for us? And we're not sure. What I'd really love to say is that we want to make the app free for everybody. And no matter how many displays you have, you can do that. And then we can search for revenue elsewhere. And we, of course, have a lot of different concepts, but one of them being like galleries, for example. We're going to build out a very robust set of tools to make the best crypto native digital art streaming service for galleries so that they can sell, view artwork in gallery spaces. We have an incredible vision, I think, for what a gallerist can do, standing in the middle of a room, pushing art to TVs, having discussions, modifying on the fly, pushing new things, and like being in full control of a gallery space that you couldn't in any way have control of if you were popping a USB stick into a TV, right? And so we're going to build that out. And if revenue can come from those partners, museums, galleries, utilizing, the more enterprise level build, that's great. Eventually, I talk a bit about, how we want to go from ambient experiences, which is what you see behind me, is passive art viewing, the ability to adjust the ambiance of your home and the vibe, as we like to say, right? That's a more ambient experience for us. But a big question that, again, we plan to answer is, what does a smart contract look like when there is a new endpoint for interaction? So right now we're used to interacting with smart contracts for minting, for transferring, for auctions, for all these things. We do it on our desktops and on our phones the same way that we always have. What does that look like if it's brought to the 85-inch screen behind me and I'm sitting on my couch with my wife and my kids, and we can maybe scroll through some active editions that are on Zora, but we're scrolling through together in our living room and talking about the art and looking at the artists, deciding things that we want to purchase, and then in real time purchasing through the TV, understanding the ownership. The conversations I can have with my kids about what that means is this incredible unlock to me as a family man. Like, my kids know what I do. They love what I do. Every time I come home, they want to know what new art I've bought or what new artists I'm talking to. And like, they love that. I mean, they think I'm cool as hell, which is great because my cool factor is rapidly declining as I get older. And they think I'm cool as shit. And I love that. But that's the big unlock for us, I think. And as it ties to revenue, I'm hoping that we can take a different approach to those active experiences being what can propel us forward, and then we can keep the product free for the most people that we can. And that's sort of the goal. So I tend to say this a lot. That's a long answer to a short question. I bring a lot of those to the table. I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. Our goal is to make this scalable as we can. And we're going to look as many directions as we can to provide both exciting experiences, but if they can bring revenue to the table that allows us to keep this free for people, that's a bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. The way that you describe that, I think, is really powerful. Like, the enthusiasm you have, obviously, for this is incredibly apparent. I love that because it's a really powerful mission. I love the idea of the contract interactions on the TV. To me, that's huge. Like, because my girlfriend and I, probably once a week, we sit down and we scroll through every avenue that I know of to look for cool art. And I don't have
amazing.
I love it, dude. We both enjoy it so much. And we'll do it for hours. Like, it's really fun. And I'll go until like I feel like I've exhausted what I haven't seen. So I'll look at Zora. I'll look at obviously Twitter, but it's not as effective. So I'll look at Zora. Zora is probably the most effective place right now that I know of to search
100%.
for. I've always had this vision of like an Instagram, but for buying art. I think Zora's tackling that with their new app, which is cool, but it's not quite there yet. Honestly, their apps, I don't think it's even available to be used by the public right now. So I don't have access to it, but just using their native website right now is really cool, and following people. Like I'm constantly trying to follow new people, and like that way my feed gets more curated. That's been massive. And the mints there are very cheap. So it feels like I'm getting such an amazing deal. But then going to Foundation as well, checking that out. If I could do that on my TV with her, that would be super cool, because we're just doing it on my phone or laptop. And like to get to experience it on a larger scale is amazing with the tech that you already have. So for you guys, like my way to add to the situation is like, don't really even worry about it. Yeah. My way is literally like, just get people to use it and then figure it out. Like if you guys have runway, you're going to be amazing. Like, so I'm super stoked to see it unfold. Like the problem that you're solving is massive, 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 massive. So yeah, you're doing the Lord's work.
We're bringing a passion to it, which I love to bring out in each of these talks that I do, because I'm a product man of over a decade, right? I mean, myself and my business partner that work out of this space, we've run a creative agency for the last 11 years. And so we've been building products, we've been ideating campaigns for Fortune 500 companies and brands and building physical products. And we've done, everything over the last decade. And it led us to Web3 as this sort of final resting place where we, knew our passions were really aligned, and we were just happy to be here with the folks that we've met and collecting art. And it just all has felt so right for us. So as an agency, we've existed here, but it takes years, I think, of like existing in this space every single day and going through the ups and the downs and reading through the drama, trying to stay out of the drama, trying to, do the different, and to understand the angles at which you need to approach something like this. And what I'm most excited about, and I say this pretty frequently lately, is that the ethos of kind of who we plan to be in the space isn't just, yes, we're going to build cool tech, but we're going to do it through a cultural lens, is what I keep on saying. And it's can only be done if you have a passionate group of people who have truly been in the trenches every day, like the rest of us. At the end of the day, right, I mean, that is a pool of 5,000 people, right? 10,000 people, if we're lucky, that are like passing art back and forth to each other. So we understand the pool is small, but if we can, again, attract to those folks by, being as culturally relevant as possible. We have, this isn't going to come out today, is it? No, this will take a little while to come out, right?
Yeah, it'll take a little bit. We're going to do some cool stuff. I'm going to click stuff. It'll be fun.
Then I can announce this then, because you'll see this later tonight. But what I'm super excited about is like little cultural stuff like this is a good example. So for example, the whole thing that's going down with Squiggles minting the last two Squiggles, right? So we have 9998 and 9999. And we love yesterday, Snowfro announced that 9998 was going to be held by the Farewell Squiggle contract. Did you see all this? So anyone that's
no, let's run it back. I haven't seen it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so they're minting the final two Squiggles, obviously a historic moment for generative art and for Snowfro and Art Blocks and all those incredible,
absolutely
industry makers, right?
Massive.
And so 9999 is going to the LACMA collection, and 9998 was sort of this unknown variable, but he allowed anyone to sort of send any amount of ETH to this contract, the Squiggle Farewell or something like that, .ETH, and then it instantly sent you the money back, but then it signed your name on the contract. And so I think like 3,000 individual wallets sent money, of course, got their money back and signed this farewell contract. So he announces yesterday that Squiggle is being held by that contract indefinitely. It's immutable, it's untransferable, which is incredible. And he says that, I think like 99% of the folks who signed that are not Squiggle holders. And so these are people who love Squiggles, who understand the significance that they hold to the space, but maybe aren't in a financial position to buy one and support the project because they're an expensive piece of art history at this point. And so he says, I want people to feel an ownership connection to Squiggle 9998. If you signed this, you have some level of ownership. And so we saw that. Our developer immediately was like, I have an idea. I'll get back to you in a few hours. And he goes and he built out a whole piece in our app that will roll out tonight. When that Squiggle mints, every contract address that's signed is now pulled into our app, and they'll be able to freely view and appreciate that Squiggle within White Walls natively. We're going to add it into their wallet synthetically so that they can appreciate that Squiggle. It's incredible. It'll get announced tonight. And obviously I know this will come out in a couple of days, so people will have already seen that. But like, that's the cultural type of stuff that I'm talking about that we can do. We can tap into collectors' incredible collections. We can tap into new artists that are minting incredible pieces. There's some fun partnerships that we're working on that you're going to see soon that are going to I think shift the whole paradigm of what this is, because yes, as a consumer app, I can view my art behind me, and that's incredible. Again, I mentioned this up top in case it gets clipped. I just want to re-mention this incredible art, the Fidenzas, the Ringers, the Meridians, not mine. This is owned by Curated, who has given us full access to view and appreciate their works. So very thankful to them. We'll announce something about them at some point. But yes, as a consumer, I can enjoy my art. But then there's going to be social fi features where if I own a piece of art, I can share a link to that piece of art on, let's say, X or Farcaster or wherever. And if somebody clicks that, links into our app, their next tap is their living room display. And in 2 taps, it goes from viewing on the X timeline to being in my physical space with me. And so there's a social fi component that's very exciting. And then these other things that we can do to unlock different collections, or this incredible squiggle that now 3,000 users are going to potentially have access to and have real viewership rights to, which he said he wanted. And we've been able to unlock that within 24 hours. And it's just exciting. That's what gets me going. And that's what I think is going to set us apart, because we're all just so passionate about this space that we see those little things every day and we're able to make actionable decisions on them in real time, and just build for the hype in the space, build for the motion of the culture. And yeah, it's exciting.
Wow. 2 things I want to touch on there. First thing is, actually 3 things. First thing, I'm absolutely stoked to hear that news from Snowfro, because I did send some nominal amount of money to the contract and obviously got it back. That's sick. I think, what they're doing is an example of something cool for the community that everyone can get involved. It's like what you're doing as well. And I think there's this interesting overlap of people that have been in this space, in the trenches, spending money, doing shit for years without any expectation of whatever, and just simply doing it because they love it. Expectation of profit is probably a big motivator or whatever, but just in the trenches, grinding, doing shit, buying NFTs, flipping, or just appreciating art, buying art, grinding through and seeing all these different people minting everyone's art that you like all that. The amount of people that have done that with an overlap of people who have business experience IRL, that have built stuff, that are people that are, consultants, or people that are builders in real life, who are movers and shakers. Those 2 groups overlapped are the people to bet on in this space, who are building shit. Because in order to really you can come in from a corporate perspective and be all right, I want to make a White Walls competitor and just fucking try to front run them. And the reality is, you could take any idea. It could be digital art galleries or whatever. And if you didn't actually live it, breathing the space in the trenches for years, you won't be able to replicate the same type of stuff, because you just don't really know this space like the people do that have really lived it. And you're one of those people. So seeing this, I'm incredibly bullish on what you're doing, because you're one of those people who has IRL experience building dope shit, from what I hear. And also, you have an amazing mission here that you see a problem that you can solve, you see what you want to do, how to make it happen, or maybe you don't even know when you first start how to make it happen, but you just start. And then next thing you know, it's a culture builds around that, because you get it. You understand what collectors want and what people are doing and what they need and how they're collecting. So you can think at that next level. So that fires me up. I love to see that. And for anyone listening, these are the people to bet on, the people who have the IRL experience, but also have lived in the trenches, in the space for years. And now they're building a solution inside of this space. So cheers to you for that, dude.
Thank you, man.
Building something sick here.
I mean, so much. Yeah. And what I love about it is that we've met so many incredible builders, because this is a breeding ground for builders, right? I mean, at the end of the day, sure, so community members, collectors, all important parts of the ecosystem. But the builders, I think, are really ones that have wanted to stick around as much as possible. Not everyone's going to find the traction that they're looking for, because, there's only so many things to, there's a million things that can be built. And there's just, only so many things can be seen in a day, right? It's like the shiny object syndrome. It's like, gotta look here, gotta look there, gotta look there. What's the next thing? And people are moving around so much. You need to build something sticky, and it's tough. It's a hard space for builders to be in. The tech is new. It's confusing to many. Developers are high demand and in low circulation. And so it's a tough place for builders to be, but a builder that can comfortably exist here is a builder that has no ceilings. There is nothing you can't build in this space as long as you connect the dots the right way. And that should be very exciting for those people who have the IRL experience and people that are building, things in the Web 2 world, if you want to go that direction. This is it should be, at least my hope is that it continues to become more of a welcoming environment for those people. But I think you gotta get to take your lumps first, right? You gotta be here and live here in order to do it through that lens. And I love what you said. Yeah, someone could come in and try to eat our lunch the same way that a hardware competitor could come in and eat Token Frame's lunch in a second, right? And it's possible. They have the distribution channels. They have low-cost manufacturing. They have minimums that they can hit that make things exponentially cheaper. I mean, there's a million scenarios of what ifs someone wanted to jump in, and that's why the cultural side is so important. That's why having your finger on the pulse of this space every day is important. And is it taxing and tiring? I mean, absolutely. None of us can say that we've gone through these last few years unscathed and it's just been skipping through the meadows every day. I mean, it's impossible, right? And we've seen good friends have taken long breaks and then they come back, or they're gone for good. And you can't blame a single person, because we all have different motives and ideas of what this space needs to be to bring value to us as an individual. And I think that's an important thing, is that we come into this with one expectation. And for many, it's financially motivated. Very quickly, I think most people realize that that's probably not, it's not a get rich quick scheme. I mean, it can be, and we've seen those stories, but for most, that's not going to happen. And so the people that do stick around and have been around are generally people who appreciate the space. And that's why my favorite event to go to every year is the Art Blocks event in Marfa, Texas. I'm not sure if you've been, but we went for the first time.
I signed up for it for this
year. Are you going to go this year? Oh,
planning on it. I need to get my location set for my stay or whatever. I know it's probably getting slim by this point, if there's anything left.
Definitely slim. We've got some really fun stuff that we're going to announce. White Walls is going to be going pretty hardcore in Marfa, just because last year it was incredible. It's this natural curation of people, because it is, to get there, the fastest way to get there is to fly into an airport that is 3 hours away and then hope to make it 3 hours into town. I mean, it is a secluded area, and it is this natural filter and curation of the people who choose to make that trek. So, every person you talk to is dedicated, is passionate, they care about the right things. And it was the best conversations I've ever had. And we went to Marfa last year with the very first version and prototype of what White Walls would be. And again, it was just a designed prototype. There was nothing developed. It was a click through, looked like it worked, fake it till you make it type of prototype. And we were like, this is what we want to build. This is it. And we showed a couple of people, and that's what led to our incredible relationship with Schiller now, who's become our go-to-market partners. That's literally who over pizza, and we were talking to them about it, and it's an incredible place. So I hope you make it. I'm not going to talk too much about what we have planned for Marfa, but we do have some very exciting things planned, and I'll tell you more privately about that to make sure you get out there.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, let's see. Circling back. Yeah, man. Passion is what the motivator is.
Dude, I love your passion. I love your energy. That's exactly what the space needs. Are people who are excited about something that they're building, who have been living it, not just seeing an extraction opportunity, and they come in with this corporate energy and maybe a shit ton of money, and they're throwing money at shit, and they're trying to understand the mentality of the degen art collector who's been in the trenches for years and who's here and just loves the space more than anything.
Yeah. You can't get into that mind.
You have to have lived it. So there's only such a there's such a small amount of people who fit that and embody that. So to see that you're one of those people and you're taking action on this with such tenacity should make anybody listening to this incredibly bullish. So I want to bring up something that you touched on earlier, the socialify aspect. If you're able to talk a little more about that, do you plan on having some sort of like way to farm a token, or like it's like, hey, I'm going to share my art on the feed. The more people who display it on their White Walls app in their house, but it's my art that I own or my art that I created or something along those lines, then they're able to then contribute to me getting a better allocation or something like that. Like, is there a White Walls token in the future?
So I am very careful never to use the T word. You got to be super careful about that. So I cannot say anything about a token because that is a truly undecided and way too early thing for us. But I will say that there is a pretty exciting points mechanism that will lead to a few fun things that will roll out soon. So the way the points work within White Walls, of course, you need something sticky. You need to appeal to the degens, as we like to call them, but to the farmers and the people who need an incentive. It's, we realized a long time ago in our profession that it is difficult to get someone to download an app. It is a simple process and something that we're all familiar with, but to coax somebody to go out of their way to search for a thing and download that thing and sign up for that thing, it may only take 3 minutes in total, but 3 minutes is a lot to ask of a person, right? So you need something sticky, you need some level of incentive, and that's where things like point farming come into play. That's why these companies have been so successful. It's not just because degens want airdrops, it's because companies need a reason for you to do that, right? And so that's what I think is now kind of snowballed into this crazy points token meta. That being said, of course, we're going to play into it because you have to. And we're really excited about the way that we're doing it. So until now, I think a lot of the points farming stuff has been either like WagerFi based, right? You need to spend or wager to earn, or it's been, like the being super loud with engagement farming, which is maybe one of my less favorite ways of points farming.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Right, we've all seen it, and we've been through the block and the
dude. Shout out Franklin is bored, dude. That guy is tweeting every minute what time it is. He's going live on Spaces. He's literally like, it's crazy. I can't get him off my feed, and I like
it's an absolute
nuts.
grind, dude.
I mean, he's a good dude, but like crazy.
It's dedication.
Yeah,
it's a specific level of dedication, and it requires a very specific audience. And hey, more power to you. What we're excited about is the way the White Walls points are going to work. And right now, the kind of working title for them is appreciation points. Again, everything for us is about digital art appreciation. So whenever a person views a piece, so for example, I'm viewing this Fidenza behind me, right? It is owned by Curated, and of course, the artist is Tyler Hops, right? And so the idea is that what I am viewing, for every interval of time that I'm enjoying this piece, I'm passively earning points within the White Walls ecosystem. The token owner then is also passively earning points. So the curated vault that this exists in, their wallet is earning points as well. And then it, of course, then trickles down to the original artist of the token as well. So Dimitri is earning points as the ringers are on there. Matt is earning points as the Meridians is on there, and it's incredible. It's super cool. We love the fact that it is all encompassing of all the folks within the ecosystem. Without the artists, there's nothing to buy. Without the collectors, there's no reason for artists to post and sell their pieces. And without the viewer, there's no end appreciation, right? And so it is this ecosystem of points that we're building, and each interaction, the V1 of the point structure is going to be really simple, kind of time interval based, and then it sort of distributes. There's going to be some really fun, like gamified mechanics that'll come out after that, which I won't go too deep into. But it's going to be just a really fun social experience where that if I am looking at a piece from a friend, a small artist, right? Of course, I've got some big name folks back here right now, but 80% of the time I have my friend's art up because that's what I collect is from good friends of mine. And so these are people that I want to support. So I know that by me appreciating them, they're earning points. And again, there's no ultimate end goal for points yet, but a lot of ideas and things that we'll structure. And, when it comes to tokens and things, it's more of a legal matter than it is anything else. And as a company that really would like to be here for many years to come, those are just things we need to strongly consider before we start throwing those ideas around. But definitely plan to bring some really cool value to those in the future. And then as we roll out sort of our next big update, which will be around curations. We want to bring a ton of incredible curators to White Walls to bring curations into physical spaces and syndicate those out to every TV in the world. And there's just like something incredible that can happen there. So if you're then viewing a curation, the curator starts to earn within that little point structure as well. And so we're really hitting every little facet of what this ecosystem requires and the folks that really make the art market, the digital art market, go round. And so that's exciting. And then what that leads to in the future, I hope will be equally as exciting, but there's a lot of questions to answer first before we get there.
Wow. You're absolutely incentivizing people to want to display their art at all times, for sure. Like, that's so sick. And then getting people to, even like as an artist, like, I think, wow, like how can I create something that people will want to display on their TV? So it then incentivizes me to then be like, let's experiment more with 16:9 formats.
Yes.
And because I'm, I do all of my art in square formats up until this point. And recently the first 16:9 piece is the one actually you threw a bid on, kicked off that.
Oh, I'm so mad.
Really
I'm so mad
that.
I got beat on that, by the way. I didn't even see the email. The next morning, I was like, did I win this piece? And I win. And it's a friend of mine that beat me. And I haven't yelled at him yet, but I'm gonna, with the 10% raise, I was mad about it. I'm probably just gonna steal it from him. No, I love it. But you're thinking the right way, though. A lot of what we hope to do is change these behavioral decisions that we make, because we are all very set in a bunch of like simple workflow patterns right now, like as the different contributors in this space. So someone that mints a piece, what's the workflow? I mint it, I right click, save it, bring it into Twitter, X, whatever. And then I post about it. I tag the person and I say that I collected this piece. And then that's it. That's my last interaction with the piece until the next time I post it back on X. That is a workflow that every collector has done and has just become used to as it like being the end point. Well, what we hope to do is disrupt that by saying the next step after you've collected, bring it into your physical space, share that as content, because that means so much more. As an artist, I want to know that you are physically existing with this piece because you like it so much that you would let it permeate this digital layer and enter the physical realm of your space. And that means so much more to me. And that's just one behavior. Then artists, how do they start to think about making art? Can we make 16:9 or even 9:16 a more desirable format to work within because people are looking for it because they want the most native viewing experience possible? I tend to think that we design a lot of one-to-one because we're designing for two things. Number one, we're designing for the timeline, and one-to-one is native. We come from Instagram. Most of us were on Instagram before we were ever on crypto, Twitter, or whatever. So one-to-one ratio is just native for that, and we're accustomed to it. But also, and I think the biggest reason people design one-one is because every marketplace is designed to show works at a one-to-one ratio, because it's the cleanest way you can lay out a user interface for multiple pieces. And even our app, everything is one-to-one when you preview it. You can then open it up and see the full, width of the piece. And you can see that on, on OpenSea or Magic Eden or whatever. But natively, if you want to see the whole piece on a marketplace, it's 1-1. And so artists are designing for timelines and marketplaces when they need to be designing for the end viewing experience, which just hasn't existed yet. So again, another fun behavior. We're looking forward to just seeing if we can permeate that and change things. And that's exciting to me.
Dude, wow. Okay, so light bulb moment for me here is like, when I display art on my token frame, usually I find enjoyment in hitting up that artist that made that piece and just letting them know. Like, I'll send them a quick little like video on Twitter or GIF, and maybe I won't post it on my timeline because I believe that we kind of have limited real estate on our timeline. We can't really just post every 5 minutes because not many people are going to see it. Like, so I'm very like deliberate with when I'm posting and what I'm posting. So if I'm displaying something in my home, I don't always share like, hey, I'm displaying this and, shouting out that artist, but I'll at least then send a message to that artist and be like, yo, I'm displaying this. It's fucking sick. Like, I'm super stoked on it. So what that makes me think of is like, imagine if I got a notification when somebody is displaying my art. So it's like, I want to be inside the White Walls app, or I get like an email or just like some sort of feed. It's like, yo, DevonFigures is displaying your art. It's like all these people, and you could see like boom, 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 boom. Like, That could be fucking massive.
I just
Honestly.
literally made a note of that because I really honestly thought about the reverse workflow. And that's very cool. I literally just said that to my team. I was like, we need to look into this. That's cool. Because we have definitely planning push notifications for like, if you mint a piece and it like a piece lands in your wallet, you'll get a push notification that says, do you want to view it? One tap, and then boom, it opens the app, select living room, and then it's there. We want 2 taps from any interaction that you do within the digital realm to then bring something to the physical realm is our goal. And it's going to take a while for us to get there, but that is very cool. I like that sort of passive appreciation. It's kind of like, you know, the unlock of like having LinkedIn Pro is knowing like when someone creeps on your page, which is a very strange
Yeah,
thing.
kind of.
But
Yeah,
it's sort of reminiscent of that. But I like it
but
though.
it's more
So,
fulfilling. It's like a dopamine rush. It's
right.
like, yo,
So
this
I
guy's
will.
displaying the work I made.
There's definitely a psychological, thing to be said there about like why, if you post a story on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, it shows you how many views it has, right? Because you want to like, and so many people that are like obsessed with, I'm not a social media guy. I never cared about social media all that much before I came to X. But those people like will refresh their own story every like 30 seconds to see how many more people have viewed it. That is I would say a sickness really at the end of the day, but something that exists in our culture nonetheless. But it is a dopamine rush. You're exactly right, right? So one thing that we're going to be doing, this will take a little bit of time. We need to build some really solid infrastructure stuff first. But one of the big questions we hope to answer is I guess to back it up, the big thing that we focus on right now is the P word, provenance, right? And that's like this big unlock that we have working in blockchain is that who owns what, who created what, who paid what for what, when it transferred here, how much, whatever, right? That's the primary provenance on chain. We're planning to unlock what we call the viewership provenance. And we don't know the full details of like what layer we want to put it on. We're still kind of like playing with ideas. But imagine in the near future, you can look at a piece that you created and just like opening up that Instagram story where you can see who viewed it and who commented on it or whatever. But I can see that this piece that I made has been viewed in 23 different countries by 2,476 users, among them these 10 notable collectors. And then circling back to this idea that we have for like the revenue side of generation for like the institutional side, galleries, museums we plan to partner with, those folks will be verified through us. So whether it's Super Chief Gallery in LA or LACMA or what have you, if they're verified and you make a 15-minute appearance at the, LACMA curated, whatever, obviously it's a lofty, crazy idea for us as a partner, but let's just pretend it's real for the sake of conversation. You can then see it's been viewed by these many users, these power users. It's made a 15-minute debut at this event at the Super Chief Gallery, and it made its rounds at LACMA, and it did this, and that's what we call the viewership provenance. And so similar, maybe not that instant dopamine reaction that I think this idea of like a notification provides, which I absolutely love. So I've made a note on it. But like for the provenance of it all, to know where a piece has been, who's viewed it, and how long it's been appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
Oh, yeah, dude. And like, I could picture like a map or something, and it's like dots on the map, like just
Hell
showing like
yeah.
all the places where that artwork has been displayed. And another idea that just pops in my head, and you might have even thought of this already, but like I love leaderboards. So like leaderboards are massive for just gamification of like what's hot, what's trending. So like imagine like a daily, weekly, monthly, all-time leaderboard. And then you could see like today, what art has been displayed the most in seconds on this day? Like how many people are displaying it? And you could see like any piece, and it's like this piece has been displayed for like 8 billion seconds or something crazy. That's probably 100 years, so I don't even know if that makes sense. But like, you know what I'm saying though? Like you can look at your art and be like, okay, like, and as an artist, understand who is displaying this, how long is it being displayed, and what, like, which of my pieces the most displayed, which is the most popular. It gives insights to artists. This is something I would pay for, absolutely. As like, I pay for Twitter, I pay $22 a month. I would pay for White Walls Premium for understanding analytics on my art from people who are displaying it. So like, if I got to see what's trending on that day, who's getting displayed the most, can I buy that artwork? What's the secondary price on it? If I could mint it, I would happily pay a fee to White Walls to mint through White Walls, just kind of like I mint to Manifold or through Manifold. So like, those are just random ideas. Obviously, I know that the execution is way more complex, but like I would love
No,
to
it's
see
all
that kind of
so
stuff,
good though.
you know?
No, I absolutely love that. And it's interesting to hear, like, yeah, I guess the analytics side is something that we're thinking about, because I think that what was required to fully understand what people like. There's always the question, like, are you here for the art? And it's hard to gauge intentions based on wallet activity, because some things are based purely on, on scarcity or a FOMO decision, or purely on a speculation that you're going to make money in the future and whatever. But like what you get with white walls, if we can truly scale it to a level that is impactful, and let's just say that's to start 25,000 activated daily screens or something along those lines, right? Let's just say like that's a benchmark. We can not only tap into, like those decisions that were made for like ulterior motives, but like really what art are people actually interested in viewing? And imagine then if you brought AI into that mix and you were able to provide reports to artists, reports to collectors, reports to that say, artists, this is the type of art that is being viewed right now. These are the, the artists that just because someone, a notable collector, picked up a piece doesn't mean that it speaks to them. It means there's a million other factors. But if they're viewing it, if they're appreciating it, maybe that speaks to them more. And that can inform artists on like what the market trends are for collectors. And then alternatively, you can look to the collectors and you can say, hey, these are the types of pieces that have been viewed the most. There's this unknown artist who's climbing through the ranks. Maybe it's time for you to look in that direction. And there's something to see there. And like the amount of data that you can pull in a blind way just from like seeing who's actually attempting to appreciate the art is, something that hasn't been able to be achieved before. And it makes us really excited to know that, again, it's going to take time. We got a million features to roll out. We've got to reach scale. My hope is that we can do that quickly. But again, not too quickly, because we don't want to implode. We've got a lot to do before we reach a larger market. But that's so exciting to me, is that we can answer bigger questions about the market that maybe people aren't able to assess or analyze now. And then yeah, bringing AI into the mix to like parse through that and then like push that to the right people is a mind-blowing idea. Yeah, something that we're definitely
honestly, wow. Oh no, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I said something we're definitely thinking through. At the end of the day, in order to access all of these big ideas that you have in your head, the only thing that's missing is the decentralized platform. Not decentralized, democratized platform that allows for the scalability of all of this. It is getting into the home. And there's only one way to do it. Like I said, I love the hardware displays. Circling back to the beginning, I think that they're doing an incredible thing. The specs are wonderful. The specs aren't all that different from this $240 display that I bought from Samsung. And so I stand by the fact that they look pretty damn good back here. But it's interesting. The amount of unlocks that you get if you can bring this at scale is truly the most exciting thing that I've ever, as a guy who's analyzed a million businesses and built so many products for other people, like we weren't going to pull resources from the agency, like our team. We weren't going to pull them off of, continuing to grow the agency. We weren't going to put our own time, effort, and energy into something if we weren't passionate about it. And we have had a million ideas. We've had advisors and we've talked through other Web3 ideas and initiatives for platforms that hopefully I'd still love to build one day. I think they're transformative. We love ideas. That's just who we are at our core. You find the passion in me because my favorite thing in the world is ideating on things, taking a raw idea and refining it and refining it and refining it until you get to where you need to be. That's like the one thing that gets me going every day of my life. And so to be in this position to do that, we knew we needed to make it based on something that we had true passion for. And I'm just thrilled that we found that in this mission, because I've never been more passionate about a mission before. And so it's coming out a lot. It was a thing from my call yesterday too, was they were like, hey, your passion for this is crazy. And it's like just ramped up every call I have. I'm like, hell yeah, I get more excited about it. And I'm probably going to like end up way overbearing very soon. I'm gonna have to scale it back down. But yeah, it's exciting.
No, do not scale it back, man. That brings up a question I want to ask you. But one thing I want to ask as well is, have you heard of Sam Spratt's Monument game?
Of course, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that massive fucking piece that Cosmo Medici bought, like with whoever he collabed in on that, buying it. So you know how that piece, everybody like made comments on it? You know what I'm
Yes.
talking about?
Of course, no.
So,
So,
like,
so I was super heavily involved. I was I don't know if you ever saw, but like I made a whole Miro board of like trying to like understand the whole Lucy story. It just this was a personal thing that I did. I got super into it, tried to get access into player. It was a bit out of my price range, but I was like this close. I think I got it was like the next person that was gonna get a pass. It was very close. I've talked to Sam since then. He's a great guy. And I missed out on playing the game, unfortunately. Tried to buy one, didn't go through. Nifty Gateway kind of didn't work for me that day. But anyways, yes, no, was very, very involved and absolutely love it, what it's doing. And so please ask your question.
So basically the idea of commenting on the artwork, imagine that you're looking at this fucking dope piece on your TV and maybe it's in a more public place and there's like a way for people to somehow make a comment like, yo, timestamped comment, this piece is hitting me in this way in my heart right now. This is fucking insane. Or maybe it's just a comment like, yo, this is fucking incredibly dope. But like, imagine that too. Like, people could comment on the artworks. It creates a whole different environment we go from just holding something on a wallet and owning it to like bringing it to life in many different ways and being able to comment on the artwork, being able to see how long it was displayed, where it's been displayed, how it's like all of that analytics like that. That's cool. So I can maybe even see like that potentially being something that people would love as well.
Yeah, so that's something we've also talked a lot about is like the contextualization behind artwork. And we've talked to a few different people that are doing that. I mean, namely Atomic Form has some really incredible tools for like a lore provenance layer. And so we've kind of looked into them a little bit. Recently talked to Transient Labs about their story inscriptions. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right? What's the next unlock? Well, once you can see the art, then you want to relate to other people about the art. And my favorite part about that, again, like I said up top, was like relating to my kids and my wife and the people that are around me, whether it's friends and all this stuff. But what if I want to take that the next step and try to relate with other people on the internet, which is, increasingly a more difficult thing to do in many spaces. But here, I think is entirely possible, right? It's about art. It's about the art. And so, yeah, can we tap into that contextualization layer, which is like a tough word to say and definitely needs a rebrand. But yeah, so something that we're thinking about as well, definitely the next step unlock is like if I can just like push a button and go to the side and start to see like a curated, like the artist notes. I think like what Curated does really well, like the folks whose art we're viewing back here, if you go to their website, curated.xyz, it's absolutely incredible. What they can do is they have for every single piece from all these pieces back here have artist notes and then the collector notes, so like their notes on it, what the artist has said about it. And I think there's even, some deeper social type of stuff that go on as well. So yeah, huge piece, big unlock, very exciting. Yeah, I love that you're getting it because you're seeing the different facets to it that just become these instant possible unlocks. Oh, there we go. Jerkel's over here operating I don't know if you can see back there. He just threw up player.
Oh, what a stud.
Yeah, we got the player going up there. Absolutely love that. Yeah,
damn,
man.
Dude.
Fun,
Okay.
right?
So I want to switch gears with you because this is just incredible. So like, what is it like to be absolutely fucking on fire on your mission in your heart, waking up in the morning, working on something that you love? I believe that's the most important thing that we can do as people is love something so much and work on it every fucking day and pour our love into it and enjoy it. So like, what is it like being this on fire?
Man, wow, that's crazy. I would love to say like I wake up with this like crazy energy every morning. I've got 5 kids at home, and so my nights are long. One of them is a baby, the oldest is a teenager, and so neither of those are easy. So nights are long. Sleep is required and appreciated when it's there. I think that, the real answer here is that I don't think all of it has really hit me yet. I mean, I think the traction behind White Walls has really just started to ramp up in the last 2-3 weeks. A lot of that having to do with bringing Rob from Foundation on. He's been an incredible mouthpiece and has like opened a lot of people. Thank you. No, we saw him And I immediately, as soon as I saw the post, I called the team and I said, I don't care who wants him. We're gonna get him. Oh, there we go. There's more sprat. We got worm food up there now. We're making a sprat wall going.
Banger.
And anyway, so I don't know if it's hit me yet. I think that it will. And I mean, to answer the question, right? I mean, I wake up, I'm stoked. My favorite thing is to get into the office. So this is, our space that myself, my business partner, Jerkel, we've worked out of for years. And so I love coming in here. This is our kind of creative environment. Obviously got the screens up, which is just living with the product every day, which is exciting. My schedule has never been more full than it is now. I mean, through the last decade of doing agency work and all that, I've never had so many back-to-back meetings, which is very exciting. I love talking, as you can see, and I love discussing product, and I love learning new things about the way people think about product. And these things all motivate me entirely. So I think that once we get into the public beta and I'm able to see some of the numbers and really get an idea of the scale and the scope and the trajectory and put some of those things in more tangible motion. And then when we get into maybe deeper talks for our seed, and I know that there's a 2-year, 3-year runway that we are going to have access to just not worry anymore about, because we have the agency right now, which needs to continue running in order for us to make money for our families. And we're not paid via white walls right now. And so from a founder perspective, we're kind of bootstrapping. And of course we have an angel that's, helping us build all this. Blondie is, if you've seen Blondie around, she's the best.
Yes.
And so we're blessed with that. But at the same time, we're sort of in this little limbo space where we've got to still pay attention to that until we are able to run, full sprint on this. And so that's my best answer. And again, in full transparency, is I'm kind of in this limbo period where all of my attention is here. All of my passion and energy is here, but I'm still maintaining on this side because I've got a family of 7. And so that's tough. But rapidly, I think getting closer to securing that runway that we need to give a multi-year focus here. And I think that the day that happens, everything will hit me like a ton of bricks, and I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and go for a run and just feel like I've got too much energy. And I'm excited for that era of my life. I need to get back to that. So we'll see sort of what unlocks mentally when some of those pieces fall into place and we're able to really focus. Because right now, I feel kind of caught in the middle, which again is
understandable.
Exciting. It's, truly the most exciting time of my life.
When you're on your purpose like you are right now, and I feel that in my heart, how much you are on your purpose. Sometimes we'll wake up when we don't have the energy, but when we realize again, we get back into the flow of what are we working on? We're reminded again of the mission. We're reminded again of how passionate we are of that mission and what we're building and why we care and why it's important. We end up having the universe conspire in our favor because we're so on our purpose. And
100%.
I see that with you. So I know that the universe is conspiring in your favor with how passionate you are, how on point you are with what you're looking to achieve. Things will fall into place. And I sincerely believe that it will feel effortless when you hit that escape velocity of really wow, this is all happening. Things will start falling into place. The right people will start coming in and stepping up, and the right angels will be there, and the right investors and the right marketing partners and the right people, the Schiller guys, for example, absolutely massive. How you got connected with them, I don't know exactly, right? It happened at Marfa. You were there and you're look, this is an idea. It all ends up when you look back at it in hindsight, it makes sense, but you can't connect the dots in, knowing that this is what's going to happen. Things are just going to fucking happen because you guys are on a mission here that people really need this problem solved. How to display art. You're layering social aspects on top of it, which are so sick. You have everybody's interest. Everyone's talking about you right now. And when you secure that runway, man, I think it's going to kind of come full circle for you to just be whoa, I can kind of chill for a sec in this idea of not chill, I'm going to stop working, but more wow, I can kind of relax for a moment and realize how much that I've achieved. So I'm rooting for you guys massively. And I look forward to displaying with white walls, and I'm a huge evangelist as of right now, for you guys. So keep crushing, dude. Just keep on keeping on. And your energy is contagious. So
Thank
I
you so
believe in
much,
what you guys are
man.
doing so much.
That means so much, dude, honestly. And sometimes the overarching, sometimes you gotta just take a stop and smell the roses, right? And it's tough to do that.
Mhm.
It can be, right? I mean, when you're in the thick of so many things, but yeah, very, very well said and well put, and something that I will definitely. I never go back and re-listen to things that I do because I hate re-listening to myself talk, but I'm going to go back and just re-listen to you on that because I think that was what I needed to hear. So thank you for that. That was fantastic. Yeah, man,
Much love, dude.
I'm excited. I'm excited for your excitement, man. I think that things are definitely falling into place. And I like to be transparent about the fact too, and just like be just like overly transparent about the fact that we are going to make mistakes, that we are not a perfect application at this moment. We are going to do our best every day to try to make everyone happy, but that's an impossibility in not only in our space, but in the world today. And those are the type of things that I just take so seriously, where I'm like, I want to appeal to everyone and whatever, and it's not going to happen that way, and I understand that. But yeah, we're building in an unforgiving space, and you need to do things right. And so I'm off to a good start. Thrilled with the start. I mean, the traction so far has been truly mind blowing. I couldn't be more thrilled every day to just be like looking through the interactions, and then I'm the one kind of writing the blogs and the content and responding to the messages and setting up the calls and kind of handling that side is like the kind of the front man or the face, as unfortunate it is that you got to look at this for the next few years. But that's kind of my role here. My business partner Dirkle, he keeps everything organized. He manages the design team, manages the development. He's 100% on that side. There we go. He's not crazy docs. You get an arm there. He doxes at IRL events though, so he's legit. I promise, he's real. And then we've got
I saw the arm.
There you go. You saw the arm. It's real. Some people
I saw the arm.
it's not real.
I'll verify it.
There we go. And yeah, we've just built a team that I'm proud of, a team I'm excited to work with every day. And yeah, hopefully as we get to that investor side, we find strategic people that we're equally as excited to be working with, that see and understand the passion and the vision. That's going to be a big thing for us, is like, we want to take strategic money because we want those same people to understand the passions that we have for all of this. And it needs to be about that as opposed to a bottom line, at least right now. And we need that room to grow and to fail and then succeed and to continue to build and to iterate. It's going to be a fun future, man. I'm looking forward to it. Feeling like, I'm in my 30s now. I'm 31.
Nice, me too.
Oh, very cool. I love it. I've been, an entrepreneur at heart since I was a little kid, man, whether it was like the lemonade stand or, just trying to like build an invention in my garage. Like, it was everything I've ever done in my life has been with an entrepreneurial backbone. Like, I was, asked me what I wanted to be as a kid. And I said, I don't know yet because I haven't come up with the idea. That was my response. I was like, I don't want to be an astronaut or some, thing that requires me to, go to school and learn someone else's trade. I want to build my own thing. And that was always, who I was as a kid. Would have loved to build something meaningful in my 20s. But now I'm in my 30s, and we're going to call that the prime of my life. And we're going to finally achieve that goal little Devon had a long time ago, building something that means something to people. And if we can continue to do that, then I'll be proud.
Dude, I feel like, your 20s are like the time that you just fuck shit up, break shit, build shit, make money, lose a shit ton of money, make some more money, lose it all again, make some more money. And, like the whole entire thing. And now, like, your 30s, it's like you've learned all this shit. And now it's like, okay, I've learned so much. Let's fucking keep going. Let's build shit that we're excited about. Let's do it for all the reasons that our heart knows that we fucking want to do this shit every single day. So like, beyond just like us, but it's like our family. It's like putting smiles on our family, our significant others, our kids, like things like that fuel you in different ways when you start thinking about it and relating that to the mission. Like, the mission you guys are on is absolutely massive, and people are going to appreciate it once they start understanding more about it. So like, the more you guys just keep doing it, the more it's going to keep falling into place. That's my take. So I'm incredibly bullish, especially after this conversation. And I'll definitely have to get that Apple TV set up ASAP.
Go
I've
get
got
it.
some extra
Go get
TVs
it.
laying around, dude. I saw Artifactions set up. He's got a frame around his TV. That is fucking
Yeah.
genius. I love that. I want to do that.
So the Samsung frame does have what they call deco frames, and you can buy them, and they're specific to the
Fuck.
Samsung frame. But we have an alpha tester that had a Samsung frame, did not like it, got rid of the frame TV, and then just adhered the same things to a similarly sized TV. So we took a regular
Yeah.
TV, put a frame. I swear we're gonna do it for this one right here, dude. We're gonna go like get a deco frame for it because it's so sick. It just elevates the experience to a whole new level. It's crazy. And yeah, we were wildly thankful for his thread. He came on as an alpha tester just a couple days ago, and we had no idea he was gonna put something so nice out there. And yeah, so this is the type of caliber of people that we hope to impress, that we hope to, provide this solution for. I'm pretty transparent about the fact that we're not the first to do this. Again, we knew when we first came up with the idea back in 2021 that this was low-hanging fruit. This is an easy thing not to build. We've learned there are very many, hiccups when it comes to building it because all tokens are not created equal. But we knew that the idea itself, we weren't going to be the first to build that, or to at least come up with the idea and attempt to build it. So there are plenty of people that have tried to do it before us. There are some very key differences in just the way that we're rolling it out. From the organic growth strategy and all that, and the cultural lens, like that's one thing, but just purely the process in which you're bringing the art to your space is a different, setup and build. And we were very clear about how we wanted that to work. So yeah, man, I think that we're doing it differently. To see people like Artifaction, vouch for us this early on before we're even into our public beta is, again, just one of those mind-blowing things where if you would have asked me a few months ago when we started developing, or even a year ago when we were ideating, or 3 years ago when we came up with the idea, I would have never thought we'd be here. And so yeah, the undertone of it all, very thankful, very grateful to a space that I have, existed in and lived in for so long, like we said. And finally getting a shot, which is super cool. But anyways, yeah, so that's the story. That's hopefully a couple little nuggets of alpha of things that are coming down the line for the listeners to enjoy and expect and appreciate. And again, undertone of it all, we're going to be transparent the whole time. I want to do a call like this every day with people, just to say, hey, this is what's happening behind the scenes, because we're building for you guys and with you guys. And that's not going to change.
Dude, like you attract people like Artifaction, evangelists at that level who will make long ass fucking threads because they care about the art. They're in it for the art, legitimately. Just like
I love
you,
that,
dude.
by the way. Yes.
You're fucking in it for the art so much, dude. Like 420 million% in it for the art. Like, and you're gonna attract people like Artifaction. You're gonna attract people that really give a fuck, that want to make these long threads. They want to share this with people. They're gonna do it completely out of the kindness of their heart because they think that it's so powerful. So like they want other people to experience it too. So like, what you've got here, I think you're absolutely on the right track in so many ways. I know we're a bit over time here, so I don't want to take you too much. So we can wrap things up here. And I will say, man, you are absolutely in it for the art. Thank you so much for coming on here today, Devon. And I look forward to hearing more from you, listening to more podcasts from you. Your energy is absolutely contagious. You're an absolute stud, a Chad, crushing it right now. And you have been crushing for a while. And now this is a new level for you. So the legend, the lore, it continues. I'm so stoked for the future of this whole entire project and mission that you're on. So keep crushing it, dude, and keep burning the midnight oil. It's going to be so worth it. And really, man, like people are going to absolutely be huge evangelists more and more and more as more people get to use this. So you're absolutely doing the right things.
Thank you for your energy, man. Thank you for coming into this with that openness and that understanding that this could be something cool, for listening to, to all that I had to say, taking it, coming up with new ideas. These are the conversations that I love to have, and I hope to have more of in the future. So thank you so much for having me on, man. It's an honor.
You're welcome anytime, man. If you want to come back on, talk more about new features, new things you're working on, I'd love to have you. So
let's do it.
We'll wrap this one. Much love, Devon, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace, guys.
Later.